Good evening. I now call to order the City Commission meeting for the City of Clewiston. Today is Monday, January 24th, 2022. Time is 5 p.m. I would like to ask Pastor Porter from New Harvest Church to come up. And if you will stand, we'll have our opening prayer and then the pledge to the flag.
All right, let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you that your word says, if two or more are gathered in your name, you are there in our midst. Father, we thank you for every single one of these government officials in our city, in our region. Father, we thank you, Lord, that everything that is done in this building, in this room tonight, Lord, would be done with your wisdom, with your understanding, Lord, with strategies, Lord, to better this city, because we thank you that everyone in this room has a heart for this city and a heart to see your kingdom come, your will to be done in Clewiston as it is in heaven. So, Father, we thank you for all that you're going to do in this place. We thank you that everything is done in order and according to your word and to your plan. We give you praise and we honor you as Lord over this city. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any additions, deletions, changes to the agenda?
No.
Okay. How about consent agenda? Are we good with that, ladies and gentlemen?
Move we approve.
A motion approved by Pittman, second by Highslope. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, it carries. We will have a time for public comments. We have an extended agenda this evening. We have a number of items. So I'm going to exercise my right to limit public comments to 3 minutes this evening. So if you have anyone who would like to address the commission, please come on up. I just heard somebody drop in online. Greg, is that you?
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you. Would you please note for the record that Commissioner Thompson's on the line? Hope you're feeling better, dude. Mr. Sherrill.
Yes, ma'am.
How y'all doing? LaVon
We're well.
911 Grant Road. I can't tell you everything and give you everything I need to do in 3 minutes.
Oh, you have to do your best.
Well, let me start with giving y'all this information. Everyone a copy of this. How many copies we need up there?
3. There's
Three
three
and
of
the
us
manager.
and the manager. That would be,
Attorney.
yes, 4.
And there's 5, is that enough? Or you need one more?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Marty, you want a copy of this?
I think they got one. Here, Randy.
Oh, got me one. Thank you.
This plainly shows in this information that Mr. Rudd property does not come anywhere near the industrial canal. You can look at numerous parts of it, and this is, in fact, I was told at the last meeting that Mr. Martin and the attorney didn't think this was a navigation channel, and this proves, in fact, it is a navigation channel. One of these surveys is from DOT alone that shows it's a navigation channel. And, if I'm allowed enough time, at the end of this meeting, I would also like to provide who holds a deed to that along the industrial canal. And I will provide y'all with that, but being limited with time, it's gonna be hard to do everything that I need to do.
Sir, if you'd like to give me your information, I'll make sure I look it over and advise the commission on it.
Thank you, Mr. Brennenberg.
Well, you got a copy of all of that data there, and I'll give everyone here a copy of the deed also. But I had a letter I wanted to read to y'all because there's a lot going on here. But I don't think I have time to read it right now. But this is a copy of the information, and I will read part of this letter if I've given enough time. And at this time, I'd like to give you a copy. My name is not on this information, but because I was a third party in this lawsuit, when the court received this information, I was emailed this information also.
And all of this is part of an ongoing litigation.
I don't know, but it's a copy of the deed and who owns that property along the embankment.
Okay, so if you
of
want
the
to hand those
industrial
out.
canal. And it plainly tell who holds the title to it.
And Gary, you're going to take a look at all this for us.
I will.
Thank you. Thank you.
At the last meeting, I gave all of the numerous pieces of evidence showing that Mr. Rudd does not own to the water at this navigation channel. And the response I got was the city attorney and Mr. Martin says they didn't think it was a navigation channel. Well, this clearly proves that it is in fact a navigation channel, as I've known for many, many years. And it does fall under riparian rules for state statutes. Everything I have gave y'all is in public record, even that deed of the owner of the embankment or the property along the side of the industrial canal is in public record now. So, and I explained where I provide y'all with this information today. And I was told at the last meeting that Mr. Martin thought I was smearing his name a little bit, some of the things I said, but clearly my name has been smeared numerous times in this whole ordeal for the last year. And I explained some in my letter and everything about that too. But
Okay, we are past our 3 minutes, Mr. Sherrill. If you would like to have a copy of that letter made for each one of the commissioners and for the attorney, we would be glad to do that for you.
yeah, well, I'd like it on record for sure.
Thank you.
I don't have a copy of the letter for everybody because I thought I was gonna get to read it. But
Sherry, would you be able to do that for us? Miss Howell would be more than glad to do that. Thank you.
But I definitely want it on public record, everything that's going on here. And everything that's went on from day one. And I'd like to get to the part of where, at this time, all of the factual evidence provided to the city. I would like to ask that this spike fence be taken down and placed within Mr. Rudd's surveyed property line according to city codes. And I shouldn't have to read y'all the city codes. I'm sure y'all got a copy of that. I got a
If
copy
you
of
will
it
give
also.
that letter to Miss Howell, and your 3 minutes are up, sir. Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the annual security and pension plan update, and that's Gloria Rosen. So if you would like to state your name and who you brought with you.
All right, this is Gloria Rosen. I'm the pension provider for the town, for the city.
Excuse me. We have somebody else who's speaking now. Thank you.
For the city of Clewiston, and I've been here doing all the other benefits as well for many years. I put in front of you, I have Jeffrey Ruber, which we're not yet ready for. Jeffrey is from Minnesota, as you all remember, came down from just to get a little warmer. But I'd like you to take this yellow folder out. You're going to have items in there marked 1, 2, and 3. The first one, number 1, is the accounting for this year, which ended, our year is fiscal October 1st through 9/30. And I would like you just to turn to page 3. And I want you to see, the reason I'm turning it to page 3 is you could look at the rest of it. It's year by year, month by month, month by month. The rest of the paperwork as backup. But we started with beginning balance in October 1st of 2020. We started with 13,098,500.98 cents. We contributed, the town put in 68,000. We've paid out withdrawals of over 600,000, and it's getting higher each year, obviously, as people do retire. So this is the defined benefit. It has been frozen, and this has been going on for many years. I'll go over that with you also as synopsis. But here is the investment gain this year was $2,950,659. And the expenses for the entire year were $8,676, and you have an ending balance of over $15 million. The rest of it is just month by month for the year, and that's why I didn't go through the whole thing. But the second most important part is number 2, if you would. I took over the pension back in August of 2013. We rolled over from prior carrier, which was principal, $8,820,029. We had total contributions that the city made from 2013 through present of $1,231,000. The total, of course, you see is over $10,000. The total withdrawal of fees from 13 to 21, so that's 9 years ago, was 10 years ago actually, but 69,000. The total paid out in benefits over those same years, 4,166,000. Total contributions less withdrawals, 5,814,000. Ending value 15,504. Total contributions less withdrawals 5,800,000. And now we have an investment gain of 9,689,984. Yes, very good. Yes.
Yeah.
We've almost almost tripled the money over the years, because you have to remember that we've paid out. Now the paying out each year is getting higher and higher. But what is interesting in here, and you of course can look at this at your leisure, is this gives month by month from 2013 through now.
Oh, yeah.
It shows you the 180,000, the 58,000, 360,000 contributions, all the way to last year, and it gives you a breakdown of every month. And the total is on front.
Thank you, Gloria.
Pardon me?
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Now we have the actuarial, which we use each year, and the state of Florida gets a copy of it. But I would like you to turn your attention to page 10, please. Page 10, you will see in 2020 that we recommended contribution for that year was 63,000. We did it at the end of the year, so it was 68,106. How much is recommended this year?
Wow.
12.
I can't hear you. What?
12.
1,000. That's it.
Wow.
Why? Because it is up to here, the funds. So we have a 30-year funding this for 30 years, as was agreed upon, because of till the last person dies. That obviously. So we've had, a lot of people retire, and several who have died, unfortunately. But that's how it works. And the money of a person that has recently deceased, we had a couple. The money stays in the fund. So the money, because they did not elect to have it paid to someone else. So I'm just letting you know how that works. It's not a nice subject, but at least you'll understand it. So I'm not going to go through this whole thing, obviously, but I just want, excuse me, to bring out the important parts. Now, the last thing, 3. I'm dying. No water.
You want water? This one hadn't been open?
Yes. Thank you.
Me neither.
Gloria.
We hope.
Right.
Okay. Here is the last idea. I met with Mr. Martin, Shari, and Kathy this afternoon. They are the retirement committee, and I went over all of this with them in the same way we're doing it now. In speaking to Mr. Ruber over in the home office, we talked about inflation, which is a key situation that's happening today. It is suggested that we take $1 million from one of the funds that we have, which is a bond fund that are not doing well, and put it into this inflation. It's if inflation goes up, this is the place that some of the money has to be. So taking just $1 million from the whole amount. So I'm going to have Jeff speak now because he will, he'll discuss this with you. Do you have any questions so far?
No, we're happy right now.
Yeah.
We're happy right now.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh, God.
Yes, so as we've seen an uptick in inflation, clearly we want to protect the plan since we've done so well over the last couple of years. So this is a nice way to protect us should inflation continue to go up. The instrument that you're using, basically the return as inflation goes up, the principal, the interest that you're paid is tied to the inflation rate. So if inflation goes up 3%, you get 3% plus whatever the normal rate was. If inflation goes to 7, but then, if it goes to only 1, you get that. But you're now hedging part of the portfolio against inflation. And so given the success that we've had with the plan, as you've seen with Gloria's comments, we want to make sure that we don't take 2 steps back. Right. And so moving portion of the money in fixed income that we currently have into this other fixed instrument still provides a diversification the plan needs, but it also now kind of provides a little bit of protection against, inflation that has been here and potentially could be here for an extended period of time.
Understood.
Does Craig have any questions? Can he hear everything?
Yeah, Greg can hear everything. Greg, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
Well, I expect, he'll get his copies and Molly will get hers. So after they go through everything, if they have any questions, you can always direct them at me and I will certainly come back, as always, and answer anything that is questionable.
Okay.
Because I know he likes to look at the entire actuarial.
Right.
Right.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
As you can see, he's good results, and
Wonderful results.
but I do like the idea of diversifying and protecting against one of the current concerns in the market, which is inflation. And so this will give us some balance that will. It may realize a little less earnings next year, but I think that's still a safe bet. That's a good idea to start
we
protecting.
really want to protect ourselves.
Yeah, we don't want to go backwards, as
Yes.
you said. And
Yes.
So just one quick question,
Yes, sir.
because I know back in the day before you guys were handling it, we were heavily loaded in real estate, and then of course when that tanked, we got hurt bad. So does our committee and maybe monitor what you guys are, what the portfolio's invested in? Like here, you want to hedge against some inflation. Who makes
We do
those?
this. I do a conference call and then I come with Jeff. Then I come in and make, generally a report, but because of the COVID and everything that was going on, I didn't make as many this year as I should have, but I wanted to make sure that Jeff came down. Yes, we are monitoring the entire portfolio.
Yep.
We're
And
not
we-
heavy in any specific area.
Okay.
Yeah, we made sure we wanted to have liquidity, given the history that you had. So,
So I'm turn to page.
Yeah, you
Oh,
might,
yeah, so
you might
if
want
you-
to go over the breakdown. for
yeah, so if you want to go in this one to page 28. And you'll see fixed income up on the upper top there. So we've got 2 options that we're using there. And like I said, we'll take a little bit of money out of Vanguard in this case and put that into the inflation option that we talked about. And then you can see we've got money spread out amongst different U.S. stocks and international stocks. And those are well diversified across technology, consumer discretionary staples, utilities, multiple industries, multiple sectors. And we want to make sure that, part of my job every day is to meet with these managers and discuss their portfolio and see what they're seeing and is there any concerns. And, right now, the biggest one they're seeing is inflation. But outside of that, you know, from a diversification perspective, or, you know, where you got hurt before, locked up into that real estate, we made sure, as we were talking when we set this up, that we wouldn't have that issue again. So if you, the commission, the investment committee said, hey, tomorrow we want to go to cash, we've got the ability to go to cash tomorrow without having a haircut or anything. So that's what we've structured this to, because we've learned from the lessons in the past. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. And you can also see, you know, as lawyers alluded to, you know, every year the return, and, you know, we made 23% last year. So.
That's amazing.
And that was moderate. That's not aggressive. That 23% is a terrific average for the type of portfolio that we have.
Because as you notice, we've got 30% in fixed income, which is pretty standard from my experience, and then less than 60% in the stocks, and the international just 12. So as for terms of policy, you can see the actuals are slightly different, but that's a good spread to try to avoid major swings, because obviously it's going to change daily, as you know.
The market came back up today, if anybody wants to know. It was,
Well, it was ugly this morning.
Look bad.
It'll
this
do
morning.
that every day. Of course, I always say when it goes down, we're buying cheap,
Yep.
because we're continually buying, and so it is what it is.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to
Yes,
thank
thank you
Gloria
very
and the
much.
representatives of Securian for coming and keeping us informed. And
Yes, I know you were heartbroken to leave Minnesota.
Yeah, it was real tough to get on the plane this
Yeah.
morning, let me tell you. The high is -4 tomorrow.
I understand you'll
couple
miss
weeks.
it.
Yeah.
But thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for everything that you do for us.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Appreciate it.
see you later.
Yes, ma'am. Moving on. Do you have those letters? We'll take those.
yeah, okay.
Okay. All right. Oh, agenda item number 2. This is ordinance number 2021-07. This is a final reading. Ordinance number 2021-07 abandons and vacates an unused 10-foot power line easement, which passes through Commerce Park as recorded in Henry County Official Records Book 62, page 97. On December 20th, 2021, the City Commission unanimously approved the first reading of ordinance number 2021-07, set the public hearing for January 24th, 2022. Do we have any citizen comments on ordinance 2021-07? Hearing none, there is no financial impact. The recommended motion is to approve ordinance 2021-07. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Motion by Heisler, seconded by Pittman. Do we have any commission discussion? No.
Of course, we have the engineer and the attorney to comment if you have any questions about it.
Hearing no questions, we'll call to vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Hearing none, motion carries. Agenda item number 3, ordinance 2022-01. This is a first public reading. Ordinance number 2022-01 modifies the text of the comprehensive plan and provides for the inclusion of a private property rights element in the comprehensive plan. House Bill 59, 2021 is an act relating to growth management, was passed by the Florida legislature during the 2021 legislative session. It requires local governments to include a private property rights element in their comprehensive plans. The proposed ordinance will distribute to the State Land Planning Agency and various other agencies for review before the second and final public hearing. There is no financial impact. Do we have any citizen comments on 2022-01 at this time? Hearing none, the recommended motion is to approve ordinance 2022-01 on the first reading and set the second public hearing once comments have been received from the reviewing agencies. Motion by Heislope, second.
Second.
Second by Pittman. Do we have any commission discussion?
No, ma'am.
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Hearing none, motion carries.
I would like to comment that the attorney did a fine job of putting this together for us to comply with the recent legislation, and I appreciate that.
Thanks, Gary.
Dylan?
Dylan, thank you. Rolls downhill in this case, right? Agenda item number 4, 2022, whoop, we just did, no, we didn't. 22, ordinance number 2022-02, this is a first reading. This amends Clewiston Code of Ordinances, Chapter 78, Vehicles for Hire, Article 2, Wrecker Service, Rotation Services. At the December 20th, 21 Commission meeting, the City Commission considered the amendment and agreed to move forward with the preparation of an ordinance amendment. There is no financial impact. At this time, do any citizens have comments on ordinance number 2022-02? Hearing none, the recommended motion is to approve ordinance 2022-02 on this first reading and set the public hearing for February 21st, 22. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Pittman,
Second.
seconded by Heislope. Do we have any commission comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Agenda item number 5, ordinance number 2022-03. This is first reading. This creates a new firefighters retirement system under Chapter 2, Article 4 of the City of Clewiston Code of Ordinances. This ordinance creates a firefighter pension program whereby the city will receive state-collected taxes imposed on property and casualty insurance premiums with which to fund the pension program for Clewiston firefighters. In exchange for receipt of these funds, the legislature has established certain criteria under which the funds must be operated and managed. This ordinance will meet the minimum criteria adopted in Chapter 175 of the Florida statutes. The City Commission approved ordinance 2021-04, which took effect October 1st of 21, capturing the existing tax revenue levied in the amount of 1.85% of the gross amount of receipts on all premiums collected on property insurance within the city. Financial impact is $107,824. Do we have any citizen comments on ordinance 2022-03 at this time? Hearing none, the recommended motion is to approve ordinance 2022-03 on the first reading, set the public hearing for February 21st, 22. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Pittman, second by Heislope. Do we have any commission discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, Greg.
Ever get a definitive number on what this one costs to catch up to start this from the state?
Yes, can you hear me, Greg? This is Randy. Can you hear me?
Yes, he can.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
The number we're using based on the actuarial analysis that was done, third party, is the $107,824 for year one. Of that, we anticipate receiving almost half, or roughly, is the conservative estimate we've received from the tax in the first year. We really won't know how much that is, obviously, until they start distributing it in this first year. But we're estimating close to half of the funding. It could be more, not expected to be any less than 50,000 or so. And that will be our catch-up contribution, the difference. And that, of course, will be split with the county and the city based on the funding formula for this this fund.
And that's a big difference. When we discussed before, it was around $2 million.
Well, now that's the full lifetime estimate, but this is just the annual contribution, and it will be similar to the Securian discussion we had in the presentation a few minutes ago. This will diminish over time as these funds get paid in and they start earning interest, and the actuarial analysis was based on, because these firefighters will pay in 5% each of their income or their earnings towards the fund, and then the fund will of course grow based on the investment portfolio and so forth. But that is the long-term estimate, was potentially a higher number, but this is that's over a 30-year period.
So this catch-up is spread out in payments over 30 years.
Correct, is my understanding, for 30 years. Travis, do you want to add
That's
anything?
not counting, and that's not counting the contributing contribution.
They do factor in the contributions that will be made, but they're estimated obviously based on the current personnel and their years of service.
So it's $2 million for 16 firefighters.
Well, no, it's anybody who has previously retired as well, as I understand it. Travis, do you want to come up and comment on that? It's based on we have to do anyone who has served that's still eligible, as I understand it. But I'll let Travis come up and he's going to comment on it further.
Hello, Commissioner. Travis Reese, serve as your fire chief, as I've been talking with our financial advisors, Foster and Foster, on this. And I'll pick up where Randy left off there. These are just estimates. It's based on our study on April 29th, 2021. And portion of that 107 will be the city's responsibility. Typically it's 33%. And then the fire MSBU will catch the other 66% of that.
Less the revenue we receive from the state.
Right. Well, that revenue is calculated into.
Oh, well, that is calculated. Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
That would be the split there. That's counting the 50,000 we're estimated to get. So if you look at that study, that was very conservative. So we're excited to see what actual funds will be collected by that. And as this bears out, yes, there is a cost because the statute requires us to go back and pick up current employees for length of service. We just happen to have a lot of long-term employees that have served our fire department for a long time. So they are due that benefit if we go with this plan. And this is the minimum plan. So if we go with that, we are obligated to pick up those employees. As those employees retire off, this plan should overfund itself, meaning the tax premiums collected based on what the tax premiums are today and what the employee payroll is today, it should actually have a surplus. But that won't happen until we take our unfunded liabilities and get those paid off by starting the plan. So we're starting out in a negative because we have to pay the employees that were previously employed and for their length of service. So that's where we're at.
Any other
So
questions?
Now we're paying pensions to volunteer firefighters who don't even work here anymore.
Correct, those that have already retired.
Not already retired.
Just the ones
Just the
who,
ones that, we have some that are already 30 years already.
yeah, there's just the ones that are still active, but they've got years of service.
30 years.
So if they retire in 5 years, it's like
If
they've
they
worked
retire
35 years.
before this becomes effective, then that doesn't count for them. So,
Right.
But if
Okay.
they are currently on your payroll today as a volunteer firefighter, we will go back. This plan requires us to go back and pick up their years of service.
Understand, all right.
That's where we come into. We have to.
So we're not paying anyone that has
No.
retired.
And anyone who is already retired, no.
Okay,
But we're still paying $2 million to catch up and paying it out over 30 years, plus our contribution.
That there is we are going to be paying that money on the unfunded liability. We have to catch that up. So if it comes out, we don't know exactly what that number is. We have an estimate, but as Mr. Martin was just talking about, as those investments are made and as people expire, as people,
Christian.
then those liabilities will change. Everybody's getting older. So I don't know how to put that very nicely, but it will
same
probably
thing
go
that
down. It
happened.
probably will not go, our unfunded liability won't go up. It would only go down.
Yeah, it's a conservatively high estimate is what we were told because of that.
Things that had to happen with the
Uncertainty.
conversion at the
Does our
police department,
contribution,
correct?
does our contribution change if they go full?
They had it in the contribution amount annually. It is reevaluated regularly, but
Annually.
it's annually evaluated in the actuarial analysis. But I think they've made it higher, and it will stay high for a few years where it currently is, and then it would start declining. As I recall, the projection is it would decline over the years, similar to what happened with Securian, the fees, if the investment earnings are sufficient and it meets its goals.
So if, at one point in time, if the firefighters go full time, does our contribution change?
That's a good point. If that changes, did he say full time fire? Yeah, if they become paid full time employees, obviously their contributions are going to go up substantially, but their salaries will as well. So that would be an analysis you'd have to do then, what the impact of paid firefighters would be on the pension fund, because this is set up for the volunteers that we currently have. And it very well could be, the discussion might be to change to something else like state retirement or whatever. I know some places have that, but
Most that are eligible, from talking with the Florida League of Cities, most fire departments that are eligible through special district or municipality always 90% of the time take this fund.
this
Because you're
plan
allowed to
versus the
capture-
state.
You're allowed to capture monies that would go to FRS that you cannot use if you are in FRS, the Florida Retirement System.
Yeah.
So it is definitely a benefit to the municipalities and special districts, whether they're volunteer or full-time. So I would, to make it clear to the commission, I would think you would never get rid of the plan with full-time firefighters. If you had no pension plan and you started tomorrow and say, we can't handle load, it's time to go full-time, the staff to station with full-time employees. This plan, from what I've looked at and the League of Cities has explained to me, is a much better option for the city.
Then FRS.
But it's not available to the county departments or county fire departments because they are required by Florida law to join the FRS. Because of that requirement, they do not get to collect that money. So if we're not in the FRS, we get to collect the 1.85%, which will, once our unfunded liabilities are paid, we will be maybe at or over that money coming in to pay for our smaller salaries today. Being full-time, of course, it would not, but it would still, you would be capturing that money to help offset it. Does that make sense?
And we can get additional information on this before the second reading from the actuarial on these details. So I appreciate you bringing these questions up today so that we'll have all the answers before you take final action in February.
Do we have any?
That $2 million for volunteers over 30 years is a hard bill.
Do we have any other commission discussion? Did you want to say something, Mr. Clement?
Yeah, and I would kind of echo or respond to what Greg, yeah, $2 million to catch up the back pay, I'll call it, is really a drop in the bucket if we had to go full-time. You're going to spend $2 million a year.
1.4 on salaries alone is what we estimate that we would need. Currently, we spend under 300.
Yeah, and we get to break it up to 30 years, so and it's going to be covered. The good thing is it's going to be covered by the MSB. Is it MSBU or special assessment? I guess we have to call it. The special assessment that we're going to be collecting.
Yes,
So
if the city goes to the special assessment, then those funds will be collected from there.
But all that to say, this is really, really going to help retention on the fire department. It's going to help attract men or women that are qualified, have gone through firefighter 1 and 2, or we put them through firefighter 1 and 2. And the savings over the years, just to have a volunteer department, is substantial. I mean, so I know the 2 million price tag looks big now, but broken down and over the 30-year period, it's
Very doable.
and we've encumbered the money. We know how we're going to pay for it, so I think it's a good deal for the city.
Thank you for that. And keep in mind too that we have interlocal with the county, so they're paying 66% of this through the fire
Right.
assessment or the fire MSBU.
Right.
So it is the city and the county joint venture. So when you say $2 million, it is not $2 million to just the city of
The city
Clewiston.
of
That is spread
Clewiston.
out over all East District.
Good.
And I don't get the retirement, if you're wondering why I'm
Sorry, that's the
I'm
way it's
pushing
written.
it. So I've been on the fire, I have been on there, and I'm telling you, it's really going to help.
I appreciate your input. Do we have any other commission discussion?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Agenda item number 6. This is ordinance 2022-04. This amends section 110-525, home occupations of the city of Clewiston's Code of Ordinances to bring the city into compliance with House Bill 403 passed by the Florida legislature in 2021. There is no financial impact. At this time, do we have any citizen comment on ordinance 2022-04? Hearing none, the recommended motion is to approve ordinance number 2022-04 on the first reading and set the public hearing for February 21st, 2022.
So moved.
Motion by Heisler. Second by Pittman.
No, I don't necessarily like it, but I'll second it for discussion.
Okay. Second by
What,
Pittman for discussion. Go ahead, sir.
Well, obviously, we can't do much about it,
Right.
but
This is one we can complain
Still give
about.
your view.
yeah, I mean, I would, just briefly, how do you think they came to this conclusion?
Legislature just basically preempted this area and said this is the only regulation you can have. I imagine it is a result of the internet businesses that have cropped up everywhere in different communities, giving those businesses a hard time if they have employees come to their house to work on a computer screen. So I would imagine that's where it came from.
Right, I guess the one, if I read through here properly, there was one, it's what I'm talking about for the public that may not know is now home occupations. You can basically in any residential district, you can now have a home occupation, which we allowed in some of our residential districts, but now it can be in any of the residential districts, and it can be any occupation. And when I mean any, it's any. So just be prepared for more, although there are some caveats that help us, like we can still control the parking and certain things of that nature, but there was one in here that said retail sales. And you can correct me if I read it wrong, but I thought it said that you can even have retail sales out of your house. And that's really kind of disturbing.
This is the language right out of the statute that we've
Okay.
got in here.
So anyway, I'm not necessarily a proponent of everything that the state has decided to put on us, but I think we are going to run into some complaints and some issues and situations. So maybe staff over the next month or so can look at our ordinances and what the new House bill allows us to regulate and just kind of be prepared to tighten our regulations as allowed by the state.
Yeah, the only thing I would add to the comments, you're spot on though. We're going to get a lot of pushback by being the ones out front when people realize the implications. But it reminds me a lot of the Airbnb thing that's been in the legislature, where they have pretty much preempted local ability to regulate those. It's very similar, except this goes much farther, and it's going to allow some things that are going to cause some problems. People are going to have businesses located in neighborhoods, in houses. Yes, they still have to live there and still has to be a house, but they're going to be able to bring in employees and do things that they haven't been able to do under the traditional home occupation regulatory authorities that most cities have. And as you pointed out, it's blanket. It's not just certain districts. It's going to be all of them. And so that's going to be a different playing field. And as technology and other things change, it's going to, we'll be able to control some of the things like the logistical items like parking and so forth, but very limited control. And it's nothing to say that the legislature's through with this. I mean, they're doing some, it's very pro-business, currently in the climate in the legislature, and you're going to see that with some of the proposed legislation that the League of Cities has been fighting. It's not for us to debate tonight that much, but they are actually looking at legislation which would fine us for having ordinances that restrict businesses to where they lose money. We will be responsible. And so that's going to be a huge game changer if that comes to pass. They've already made significant amendments to that in the drafts, but that's one that's got a lot of people's attention. And clearly that's very strongly pro-business. And none of us are anti-business, but we're going to give up some things that we've had traditional. And this is one area from the last session that is a major step back in terms of our ability to control neighborhoods and zoning and all the other regulatory authorities we've had. And so it may get amended, but it's a pretty strong statement. And Gary hit it on the head. There's several factors, I'm sure, pushing it, but nothing going in the opposite direction currently in the proposed legislation.
Well, the line I was talking about says the home-based business may not conduct retail transactions at a structure other than the residential dwelling.
Yeah.
So you can't have retail sales. You want to have a dress shop, a shoe shop, sell light fixtures right out of your house.
Thrift
Got to be in the house, not in
But you gotta be in the house.
building.
Thrift store, whatever. And that's interesting.
I'm like you. I'm not against the business.
No, it's
but
not that.
I can just see down the line the complaints that we're going to get because somebody parked in my yard to walk across the street to go into this business.
Very similar to a yard sale problem that you have when you have somebody that's doing that on a regular basis, you get those kind of complaints. But you're exactly right. And I also see this, certainly technology's had a big impact because people's ability to have shipping and things through their home occupations is a reality. That's going on, and yet we're going to be the one that's going to have to draw the line on the parking and enforcement. So we're going to have a lot more issues that we're going to have to deal with that result from this when people don't stay within the parameters of the ordinance. But well said.
But we have to pass it.
Well, we don't have any choice, from what I understand, because they're putting a lot of sticks on the state end. If you fail to comply, there may be some tried, but grants are going to be restricted. Lots of other things if you don't comply. So we're going to have a hard time. Plus, it'll be invalidated if we adopt an ordinance, as the city attorney just pointed out. It's the law of the land, and unless that changes, we're not going to have the ability to enforce a rule that goes beyond it or is in conflict with it.
One more chip at home rule.
Very big one.
Any other commission discussion? Motion by Hyslop, second by Pittman. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Yeah. Hearing none, we'll move on. Agenda item number 7. This is ordinance number 2022-05. This is a first reading. Ordinance number 2022-05 amends section 110-315 permitted uses of the City of Clewiston's Code of Ordinances to include special exception uses for dwelling units with not less than 450 square feet in the multiple family residential district. That's an R3. Antonio Perez of McGahey and Perez, on behalf of Lakeside Detox Limited Liability Corp., requested a special exception to be allowed to build apartments in multifamily residential district R3 no smaller than 450 square feet. The City Planning and Zoning Board met on January 10th, 2022 to consider the request. Attorney Dylan Brandenburg informed the P&Z Board that the situation would not be considered for a special exception and recommended they consider adding a special exception to the existing ordinance to allow the small apartments. The Planning and Zoning Board recommended adding the special exception to the city's existing ordinance. The vote was 4 yeas, 1 nay. Board member Jerry Cochran voted nay. Do we have any citizen comments as to ordinance 2022-05? Hearing none, there is no financial impact. The recommended motion is to approve ordinance 2022-05 on first reading and set the public hearing for February 21st of 2022. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Heislope,
Second.
second by Pittman. Do we have any commission discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What was it?
Hold on, Mr. Pittman first, and then you, Mr. Thompson.
Okay, that's hard to hear that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna, the best avenue was to rezone the property and then, because I see it's coming up on the next, because it's public and it has to be R3 or something else.
Well, our advice was that under your current reading of your ordinance, you couldn't allow this. So to allow it, you're amending your ordinance to provide this as a special exception in this district so that it can go forward. So essentially what this does is it lowers the square footage requirement, and it also lowers the allowed density. So it's not like you're getting more density. There's a stricter density cap, but as a special exception, meaning you can find special circumstances exist with regard to this property that would allow it to have 450 square feet only of space per unit.
So would this apply down the road to another R3 property?
They would have to come in and ask for a special exception, and you'd have to make that determination that there were special circumstances allowed with respect to that property to allow it to go forward, just like this one.
And of course, they'd have to be willing to give up the higher density and meet the same requirements broadly across this exception that they've proposed. I would like to say that the city attorney's office did a very good job of presenting this as an alternative to the planning and zoning board, because what we're dealing with here, I think all the commission, but just so the public's aware, is an existing building in this particular case that is very limited in what can be done with it. It's sat vacant in large part because of that, partly because the zoning doesn't allow it to be very many things under the public zoning. So you'll be dealing with that in a separate action, changing the zoning classification. But as a R3, this will allow for this particular long vacant building, with all the other things, if they fall into place, to be modified and utilized to help us meet our current housing shortage, and particularly some of the beneficiaries of this. The limitations on, because that was one of the concerns that planning and zoning had, is they want to just lower the square footage and you just add more units. It's not creating, as the attorney pointed out, any additional density, and that's a really fair thing about it. It's balanced. The proponent did not want that. They wanted the same, the lower density requirement, but they wanted this flexibility, given in part because of the uniqueness of this structure and the way it's designed. It would be very difficult for them to have larger units, and they certainly couldn't have enough to make the project go. Just for clarity, the current owners with the detox are not part of the proposal. They're just selling the property. It won't have any relationship to any use related to that. It's solely to create typical multifamily apartments. And I'll defer to Travis if he wants to add anything else that the Planning and Zoning Board shared related to your question.
I think Mr. Brandon, Rowe, yourself answered a lot of those questions already. That was one thing I can say is the conditions after the request from the Planning and Zoning Board on item A, if you look at your list there, B through G were added by staff. That didn't go through Planning and Zoning. Those are things that the staff picked out and said these are things that we feel should be appropriate there. So Planning and Zoning, during the general discussion, as Mr. Martin said, was worried about density. We included that density here as a reduction of units. And we also included B through G.
And to that point, the Planning and Zoning asked that if the commission approves it on first reading, that it come back to them, and they will again review this between now and your public hearing to give any further feedback they have on these added items that Travis just mentioned. But they were supportive of going forward with it and trying to keep it on track, timeliness, because obviously it's been long vacant and sitting there, and we didn't want to see this sale lost by a long delay of 3 months to get it through. So that's why they made the recommendation they did, with the proviso that it come back for their review on these details for the specifics of the special exception recommended by the city attorney.
So Nikki, do you get a copy of this like prior to today to review these additional bullets? No?
But he will.
So you don't know if you guys are going to be good with?
I don't know what the part is.
Okay.
Well, with regard to the number, the density and the square footage, they did ask for that. That's consistent with their request. The other items, if you want to just walk through those, Travis, just for clarity, since everybody hasn't got a copy of them, they're fairly minor in nature.
Yes, sir. Item B provides for 1,000 square foot of usable space. This would have a children's play area or something area outside that they could play from or play in.
And if I can interrupt you, that was discussed at the Planning Commission because that would allow them more open space, green space, as a result of the lower density.
Yeah, but keep in mind, as we're going off the B through G, they're not required in R3 currently. So not just this project, but in another project that wanted to duplicate this, where you had interior apartments without utility, without washer dryer services, no place ready for the kids to hang out, because like I say, the density requirement for the lot you can get, there'll be some green spaces, but not particularly. It could be a swale, it could be a retention area. There are many things that get created during development stages. So that's why we put certain safety catches in here. Like I said, B was the open space for a play area. Now, we didn't define what the play area was, but it's just a fenced area. Hopefully they'll put something in there to accommodate the children, but there's not a requirement for that, just to designate that area. We were concerned about washer and dryer areas. We didn't want to see people having to take their laundry to a local laundromat down the street. Possibly if they're in a smaller apartment, they may not have a vehicle. A lot of these kind of people probably will not have vehicles. With that being said, a lot of people like bicycles. We want to see green space, your downtown area. We encourage bicycle racks. So we thought we would include that, at least enough spaces or slots in there for the bicycle racks for each apartment. This particular one, there's actually a bike rack there already. The parking lot shall be lighted. That's not a requirement in R3 now. It's only in your commercial area. I thought that was something that really should be there when you have high density. You want to light that area, especially if you have a lot of pedestrian travel. Along with the parking lot areas. We also asked for security cameras to be installed with on-site recording for the children's lot, the washer and dryer area, and any interior hallways. And then G is just a catch-all for other conditions of approval necessary to ensure compatibility with neighboring properties. So there may be some unique things that the commission in the future may see in a certain development area, maybe not in this one, but there may be unique features that you may need to add an additional bullet.
Thank you.
Of course, if the commission wants to add anything or subtract from that, that's just for your review. Staff thought that was appropriate.
And of course, we will have a public hearing and an opportunity for anyone to comment on it at the next meeting, if you approve it tonight, to go forward.
Do we have any other commission discussion? Any other questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Thompson.
So staff is advocating for living space to live in 450 square feet.
Yes, in this instance, yes, living space of
special
450,
exception.
special exception.
That's the size of a small park model trailer.
Actually, it could be smaller, because up to 500 square foot for a park model. So this is really what we would define in zoning as your studio apartment or efficiency. So something very small. Efficiencies would typically, you're going to have maybe a cooking area. You're not going to have that laundry area. That's going to be a single room. Maybe have it's called a Murphy bed.
Right.
Something lets down. So we don't currently have any of that in the city. So there probably is a market for that. There probably is a need for that. So they are smaller. I think the applicant did put some floor plans in here to give you an idea of what some of them may look like. But it's currently your zoning today is the same in R3 as it is R2, 750 square foot minimum.
Which allows for a higher density as well.
It does. Right now, with that higher density, you could get roughly on an acre of ground in R3, you can get 16 units per acre. If you opted to go with the 450 with the special exception, you would be reduced down to 14 units per acre.
That was one of the other points discussed at the planning and zoning meeting, was the lower density was attractive because you could create the open space and other things. And also, again, it's driven to some degree by the size of the existing structure on this particular one, but it wouldn't be applicable to just that building. It could be anybody that would have similar situation to ask for the special exception. That doesn't guarantee they would get it.
Go ahead.
That's 450 square feet. That's pretty much in it now.
It's pretty much what,
I just want to know about it. Is that what we want in the city of Clewiston?
That's the question.
Mr. Perez?
Antonio Perez. What we envisioned here was not necessarily apartments for families. It was the idea was more apartments for single individuals that would make an apartment more affordable, instead of a 750 square feet where a single individual would have to maybe get a roommate or have a larger apartment by themselves. The density issue goes beyond just the smaller or the less units, because I'm just going to use round numbers. Let's say, for instance, that the minimum was 900 square feet. Well, you get one unit 900 square feet, or one unit that's 450 square feet. So now you're covering 50% of the area. So you're not getting more apartments or covering the same area. You're covering half the area. So I think that's a big give up to get the smaller units. The city's always focusing on housing that's not affordable. And I mentioned there's only two things you can do to make housing more affordable: is have someone else pay for it or make it smaller. There's no other alternative. So we think that there's a market for smaller. And it's not necessarily more people in the same smaller property. This is, again, the vision is one person, single, maybe a couple, but not more people in smaller units. So if you have any questions, I can. And this building, the way it's set up, it's long and narrow. It was very small, commercial type offices. it's not really, it's not easily to convert to 750 square foot units. So I think the hallway in the center is like 20 some feet to each side. So it's like 40-foot wide, and 20 by 22 would be get you about the 450 square feet. So that's where that comes from. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you.
I think affordable housing is a real issue.
And I like
In
the
Clewiston.
450 square feet, right? I teach a finance class at the school, and we're doing budgeting with seniors. And one of the things we've talked about is studio and efficiency apartments. And the kids have said, how do we do that? So I know there is I think this is.
In talking
well
to
thought out.
staff, though, I mentioned even we have teachers that come and they need somewhere to live, and it's just one person that moves down from Illinois and teaches here, and they can't afford to pay $1,500-$1,600, like you said, without getting a roommate. But at what point are you not wanting to live like that?
Right.
I don't know if this is for Travis or the attorney, but is there what is our regulation on how many people in an apartment based on square footage? Is it based on bedrooms? What is it? Is there anything at all?
Very little. There is regulations on how many per square foot. I can't recite off the top of my head, but it's almost impossible to regulate.
No more than 3 unrelated persons can be in a home or a unit.
Yeah, and if you
Even
ever tried to go
regardless of
figure
square
out what
footage?
unrelated was.
Yeah, it's a problem.
It is
a problem.
It's not enforceable.
We'll have to look at
It's
that
difficult.
and address it.
Yeah, it may be difficult to enforce, but it might be something that can be advertised, or I don't even know if we need to put it as one of the bullet points,
That's each.
just so you have a little bit of teeth if they try to stick 10 people in one of these.
Well, the reality is it typically gets enforced by the management of the facility. They're probably going to be in a better position to know, and in their lease with language that's going to limit those kind of situations. But the city can have its regulation, but without the on-site management enforcing to some degree their own rules and whatever. I don't know if Nikki wants to comment on that, but that might be another point for the
Just think that's going
discussion.
to be a
Protect
question
their
from
investment.
some citizens and maybe some other groups that.
I agree that that should be limited. I think that this kind of segues into something that I've been discussing for years. I'm going to give you an example of a mobile home in LaBelle that's 4,500 square feet. This was an addition on the front, addition on the back, and it's being rented to someone that has 45 people in the mobile home. So it's 10 times as big, and it has 45 people. So that's a migrant labor facility. And I think the city, Mr. Brandenburg and I dealt with this issue a while back, and I think the city should move forward and designate areas where migrant labor facilities are allowed. That way they can prohibit this type of situation in the future. I think the law, and correct me if I misstate something, Mr. Brandenburg, but it says that you can, if you provide for a district for migrant labor facilities, you can regulate and prohibit it in other districts. So right now there's, we're not doing very much to do that, and that's a concern. I agree that we should limit the number of people in facilities or residents.
We can certainly look at putting an occupancy limit on the 450 square foot units.
Currently, migrant labor camps, we only allow those in multifamily, but it's not one of the permitted uses. So yes, it could be better language. Just staff currently, if you apply for it, our first criteria is it multifamily? And we have had pushback on that, so it wouldn't hurt to have some clarity.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Oh, man.
We have a motion by Commissioner Heislope, second by Commissioner Pittman. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Whoop. Commissioner Thompson, that was a nay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 8. This is ordinance 2022-06. It's a first reading, and this amends the future land use map of the comprehensive plan to reflect 601 West Alvarez Avenue in Block 110 of the general plan of Clewiston as multifamily, two-family to meet the standard of a small-scale amendment. The applicant, Antonio Perez of McGahey and Perez PL, on behalf of Lakeside Detox LLC, is requesting a small-scale future land use map amendment for the property located at 601 West Alvarez Avenue, more particularly described as all of Block 110, less the north 420 feet thereof of the general plan of Clewiston. The applicant is also requesting a concurrent rezoning of the subject property from the public district to multifamily residential district from P to R3. The City Planning and Zoning Board met on January 10th, 22 to consider the request and after review and discussion, recommended approval of the amendment to the small-scale future land use map of the comprehensive plan. The vote was 4 yeas, 1 nay. Board member Jerry Cochran voted nay. Do we have any citizen comments as to ordinance number 2022-06? Hearing none, there is no financial impact, and the recommended motion is to approve ordinance number 2022-06 on first reading and set the public hearing for February 21st of 2022. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Pittman, second by?
Second.
Heislope.
Just a quick question.
Go ahead, sir.
Is this going to trigger any kind of transition buffer since it's going to be changed? It'll be butting up against public now, or I don't even remember. There might even be a fence there now. I don't remember.
It'll actually be the opposite. So the buffer is between multifamily only when it's with single family. And it buffers with, if public or commercial was going to buffer up against residential. I'd look closer, but I don't believe this would require a buffer.
Okay, that's all I have.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
We have 2 ayes, 1 nay. Motion carries. Moving forward to agenda item number 9, 2022-07 is an ordinance up for first reading. This ordinance amends the official zoning map of the city of Clewiston to reflect 601 West Alvarez Avenue in Block 110 of the general plan of Clewiston as multiple family residential, R3. The applicant, Antonio Perez of McGahey and Perez PL, on behalf of Lakeside Detox LLC, is requesting a zoning land use change for the property located at 601 West Alvarez Avenue, more particularly described as all of Block 110, less the north 420 feet thereof of the general plan of Clewiston. The Planning and Zoning Board met on January 10th of 22 to consider the request and after review and discussion, recommended approval of the rezone of all of Block 110, less the north 420 feet thereof of the general plan of Clewiston. The vote was 4 yeas, 1 nay. Board member Jerry Cochran voted nay. Do we have any citizen comments as to ordinance number 2022-07? Hearing none, there is no financial impact. The recommended motion is to approve ordinance number 2022-07 on the first reading and set the public hearing for February 21st of 2022. We have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Pittman. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Heislope. Do we have any commission comment or questions? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
2 aye, 1 nay, motion carries. Agenda item report number 10. This is Resolution 2022-001. Resolution 2022-001 accepts the proposal in the amount of $69,900 from All Florida Contracting Services, LLC, for the city of Clewiston WWTP Genset Project wastewater, and approves the contract with All Florida Contracting Services, LLC. The city issued invitation to bid 2021-06 on December 8th, 2021. This work consists of installing a new 230 kilowatt emergency standby generator with an 800 amp automatic transfer switch that will provide emergency backup power to the city's wastewater treatment plant in the event of a power failure. It also includes the removal of the existing concrete support pad, the existing manual transfer switch, the installation of a reinforced concrete support pad, and performing all electric or wiring, conduits, components, hardware improvements, startup and commissioning services, and restoration of all disturbed areas. One proposal was received and opened on January 12th, 22. City consulting engineer Johnson Engineering Incorporated has reviewed the proposal and recommends awarding the contract to All Florida Contracting Services, LLC. The financial impact is $69,900, and the cost is reimbursable under DEP grant LPA 0006. Do we have any citizen comments as to Resolution 2022-01 at this time? Hearing none, the recommended motion is to approve Resolution number 2022-01. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Highslope, second by Pittman. Do we have any commissioner comments or questions?
Yeah, I have one.
Go ahead, Commissioner Pittman.
We only received one bid. Is that, do you have a reason for that? Because I know there's a lot of local electrical contractors that maybe they just weren't interested.
Yeah, Danny and Andy can comment on. We discussed that very point, so I'll let either one of them or both comment. The engineer or
Sure, this company could be local. Like, I'm just assuming they're not.
I think one of the items was bonds, and I'll let them comment on that.
Andy Tilton for the record. That was probably the primary reason, Commissioner Pittman, is that bonds were required for performance and other things. And several of the people had commented that they don't have that capacity or that relationship with a bond agent. And so that was part of the reason that we got that. The price that this company gave was less than our estimate. So we felt that even though there was only one, that it was a reasonable bid price. If the commission wanted to consider other issues with regard to bonding and things in the future, that's something that the commission could discuss, and because it is a policy issue. I mean, it's our recommendation that the city have these companies bonded because it provides you protection.
Right. I know at one point there was an amount attached to the bond requirement, and it wasn't that, it was much higher than this. And I'm not proposing we rebid it. I'm fine with what you've done. I guess I'm disappointed we didn't have any local.
And there were some that picked up plans and things. Now, exactly why they didn't bid, I can't tell you 100%, but we did hear that issue mentioned.
It was the bonding issue.
Yeah.
So,
No, and that
we did have one
is.
local, but he sent the bid by email.
Didn't get it in time.
Well, in being it looks like a grant's going to pay for this, and
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
think we have
times that
91,000.
also can hurt you bonding wise.
Right.
Because I think the state, I don't know what it is now, but it was anything over a certain amount, you have to bond.
Right.
I know the city could maybe do some things, not on this bid, but maybe in the future to help our local guys out.
Yeah, I really wouldn't want to extend it because we've extended this a few times.
No, I'm
and
not
they've allowed
for
us
that.
to proceed.
Yeah, that's one of the things. This one is tied to our consent order,
Yes.
and it's critical that we get it done as quickly as possible. And I think the bonds are important to make sure we have performance because the state's really got us under a tight schedule. We already, as Danny said, extended it, and we need to wrap it up. And and they gave us the grant money, and they don't want to see it dilly dally. They want it addressed before we have a storm and an event and all the things negative that can happen if power is out and you have an overflow as a result of no generator. We're going to get dinged, I'm afraid. And so the sooner the better. And
Right. Yes, sir. Mr. Brandenburg.
Question with regard to Schedule A, I note that there's some handwritten changes in that. Is that the bidder's changes before they submit the
Kathy
bid,
did
or
it,
what
yeah.
happened there?
you want to comment, Kathy?
I wrote that on there based on their letter.
Okay, so I would suggest that we have them prepare a new Schedule A and submit it before this is signed by the mayor, that's all.
I believe that item was an item that they acknowledged an addendum that was sent, but they didn't put the item on the list.
Okay.
And so I agree with
To
your,
avoid future problems?
I agree with your recommendation, sir. I'm just explaining to the commission how that happened.
Thank you. Do we have any other commission comments or questions? We have a motion by Heisel. We have a second by Pittman. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. And we'll get that new scheduling. Moving on, agenda item number 11. This is Resolution 2022-02. This authorizes the mayor to sign the agreement between the city and YMCA of Southwest Florida, Inc. to provide summer camp programs to children age 5 to 12 years old. There is no financial impact. Do we have any citizen comment as to Resolution 2022-02? Recommended motion is to approve Resolution 2022-02. Do we have a motion?
Well, before you get the motion and act on it, the attorney has a suggestion.
I was going to, bring that in under
Whenever.
comment. That's okay. Go ahead, Mr. Brandenburg.
I just noticed, while reading through the agenda a second time, that this does not have an insurance requirement in it. So I'd suggest you go ahead and approve it tonight, and we'll put our standard insurance requirement in there. We'll check with YMCA in advance, make sure they have the right policy. But an indemnification might not do you any good if the party isn't insured and you don't know what kind of assets they have.
Okay. So recommended motion is to approve Resolution 2022-02 with the added insurance clause. Do we have a motion? So moved. Motion by Heisel, second by
Second.
Pittman.
I was giving Greg a chance.
I knew you were. Do we have any commission comment or questions?
Just one quick question. I know in the past, our local teenagers were able to be CITs and that kind of thing. Does YMCA allow that?
Yeah, as I understand it, they still try to employ as many locals as they can. This, as you know, this is the first time we've had it, and I guess this will be the 2 cycles because of the health pandemic and other implications. But it will be a very similar program. The only difference is this time is previously we had the pool involved, and as long as our facility is not open, that's not included in the arrangement. We will be providing them some space for operating through the soon to be completed renovated youth center, and so I'm excited to get them back in town this summer and have this program available. But I don't believe there's any other changes, and I don't think the insurance requirement will be an issue because it's the regional YMCA, and so I'm sure they'll be able to meet our requirements.
Randy, are we still actively looking to fill that position?
The director, yes. And I have gotten some additional applications. And so,
Good.
but we will have the facility staffed either way with support staff to look after it once we reopen. And then we'll have hopefully a director by then too.
Good.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the commission? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Agenda item number 12, Resolution 2022-03. This approves the contract for disaster debris removal and disposal services with primary contract for Zone 1 between the City of Clewiston and D&J of Alabama Incorporated. Do we have any citizen comments as to Resolution 2022-03? Hearing none, the financial impact is unknown at this time. Recommended motion is to approve Resolution number 2022-03. And we've talked about this for a while now.
Yeah, the commission had, of course, authorized us to seek contracts with the selected proponents, matching up with the county and LaBelle. We're all using the same contractors. And the clerk was able to recently get all of these proposed. I won't make this comment on each of them, but it's the same on each of them that are coming up. And of course, we hope we never use them, but this will be, and the contract is very similar to the standard that's modeled after the FEMA eligible. So this will ensure our eligibility. And these are the large contractors that work these. And of course, they use local resources as part of their effort once an event occurs.
Again, the recommended motion is to approve Resolution 2022-03. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Heislow.
Second.
Second by Pittman. Commission comments or questions?
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, Commissioner Thompson.
Randy, didn't we take action on this a couple months ago?
Yes, to authorize contracts to be negotiated, you pick the recommended agencies, but we had not gotten back the completed contracts until just recently during the holidays.
Okay. Yeah, I thought we had taken action.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other commission comment or questions? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 13. This is Resolution 2022-04. This approves the contract for disaster debris removal and disposal services with secondary and tertiary contractor for Zone 1 between the City of Clewiston and KDF Enterprises, LLC. Do you have any citizen comments as to Resolution 2022-04? Financial impact is unknown at this time. Hearing no comments, the recommended motion is to approve Resolution 2022-04. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Pittman, second by
Second.
Heislow. Do we have any commissioner comments or questions?
No, ma'am.
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Moving forward to agenda item number 14, Resolution 2022-05. And this approves the contract for disaster debris removal and disposal services with second and tertiary contractor for Zone 1 between the City of Clewiston and Aftermath Disaster Recovery Incorporated. Financial impact at this time is unknown. Do we have any citizen comments on Resolution 2022-05? Hearing none, the recommended motion is to approve Resolution 2022-05. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Heislow, second by Pittman. Do we have any commissioner discussion? Questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. If you will take a look at our action agenda and completed items, you got any questions or any comments on there?
I think it helps if you have a completed date put, at least you have a goal you're shooting for. Maybe not for all of them, but maybe just the first 5.
Sure. No problem.
Unless it's something we've mentioned as a hot item, but
Yes, sir.
I know it helps me when I have a date.
Good suggestion.
We've got a lot of them knocked out. If you take a look at the departmental activity reports, do we have any questions or comments there? Well, we will move on. Mr. Martin, do you have anything you would like to bring up this evening? Got any comments?
Just very briefly, I appreciate the commission's indulgence and all the support you've given me recently. Thank you.
We are sorry for your loss, my friend.
Thank you.
We are here for you.
Have safe travels.
Yes.
I appreciate it. I'll be leaving tomorrow.
You'll be prayed up there. Mr. Brandenburg?
No comments. Thank you, Mayor.
Brandenburg Jr.?
For me.
Okay. Commissioners?
No, I think I'm good.
Very good. We have a motion to adjourn. Is that time? Second?
Yes.
We have a motion and a second. Meeting is adjourned. Time is now 6:32.